What if the Filipina that you've started dating is married and separated? This is certainly a question I've been asked many times over in comments on my YouTube videos. And the reality, which I'll address in this video, isn't promising for those that are in such a situation, and in fact, it could lead you to being charged with adultery and being thrown into a Filipino jail. If you're new to our community, then I offer a warm welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I trust you'll enjoy our extensive video library where we have over 600 videos to choose from in our various playlists. On this channel I talk everything about Filipino relationships from a foreign man's perspective who has dated and married a Filipina over the past 7 years. I also draw on my own experiences and what I've learnt from my own research and from talking to other Filipinos over the past several years. We all have different experiences and views, and I encourage people to share these in a respectful way as we can all learn from one another. So feel free to subscribe and press the bell icon to get our future videos on a daily basis. One needs to know that in the Philippines they have laws that may be far different from the laws in your country, and if you're going to date a Filipina who is married and separated, then you need to know what these laws are and how they can affect you. In many countries around the world, people may get married, and if it doesn't work out, then simply they can go through the process of divorce, and once the divorce is granted, then they'll be free to remarry at a later point should they wish to do so. But know right here that this is not so in the Philippines, as there is no law allowing for married couples to be divorced. So effectively, once a Filipina is married in the Philippines, she is married for life. And it doesn't matter if she separated from her husband 10 or even 20 years ago, she's still considered married, and the only way around this in the Philippines is for her to get an annulment, which once completed would then allow her to remarry. However, annulments in the Philippines will cost several $1,000s and may take several years to be finalised. So because it's expensive for most Filipinas, they choose not to get an annulment and to go about their lives. And then you come into the picture. And sure, you may like her enough to want to pay for the annulment, but still, the process will take some years to complete. And so, during this time, she's still a married woman, and you must realise this because it has great consequences for the unsuspecting foreign boyfriend. This takes us into the law around adultery in the Philippines, and I want to point out right now that I'm no lawyer and I don't claim to be any authority on Filipino law. But the fact is that adultery, or having a sexual relationship with a married Filipina who is not your wife, is illegal and punishable by up to 6 years in prison. So the reality is that in the years that you're waiting for the annulment to finalise, if you're having a sexual relationship with the woman in the Philippines, then you run the risk of someone filing a case against the two of you, and you could both end up in a Filipino jail awaiting trial, which can take a few years to be heard. Now, while this may not happen every day, there have been many cases over the years of foreign men being charged and spending time in a Filipino jail for committing adultery. So are you prepared to date a married Filipina and wait years before you can have a physical relationship with her in the Philippines? Or are you one who will just risk it and hope the ex doesn't decide to file a case because he gets jealous or wants to try and scare you into giving him some money? Which is certainly something else that can and does happen. Be very sure that it really can expose you to being scammed or blackmailed, and that would be a very scary position to be in when you're in the Philippines. And this whole situation should be very concerning to anyone thinking of dating a Filipina or who is in a relationship with a Filipina. And you really just can't take your girlfriend's word for it if she tells you that she isn't married. Some will just plain out lie because they think you will then look for another Filipina, and others may think because they're no longer with their husband that they aren't classified, in her mind at least, as married. And this could also be because of her lack of understanding of the law in the Philippines, or because she thinks being charged with adultery is very unlikely. And maybe it is unlikely, but as I said earlier, it is a possibility that does happen on occasions. In my opinion, there's only one way to be sure if your Filipino girlfriend is married or not, and that is to have a CENOMA, or Certificate of No Marriage, completed. This government certificate will let you know for certain if your girlfriend has ever been married in the Philippines or not, and will only cost around $25 for peace of mind. So my best advice is that when you are with her in the Philippines, to be sure to go together and complete a CENOMA, as she will need to provide her photo ID and all other details. In my opinion, being 100% certain that your Filipina has never been married is vital for your security when in the Philippines, and if she's reluctant to get the certificate, then question yourself as to why this may be. I'm sure there are many wonderful married and separated Filipino women out there, but really, dating one will add so many complications as you move forward, and knowing what you know about adultery, would you really be comfortable having a physical relationship in the Philippines, wondering if the police were going to turn up at any time and put you in a Filipino jail, or her ex was going to come and blackmail you? So really, you can easily avoid the possibility of these problems by choosing a single and never married Filipina at the start. And it will certainly make your new relationship much easier and far less complicated moving forward. And one really needs to remember, the Philippines has its own laws and ways of doing things that we in many foreign countries may see as not reasonable. But when you fly to the Philippines, you're under their local laws, and you as a foreigner must abide by every one of their laws, whether you agree with them or not. Because not doing so can really land you in a lot of trouble that you really don't want to be dealing with in a foreign country. If you're looking to find a beautiful Filipina, then be sure to click on my affiliate link in the pinned comment below to the Philippines' #1 dating site, where you can create a free account and view thousands of profiles right now. And for more information and tips around Filipino relationships, be sure to check my playlist on screen now. Thanks for watching, stay safe and take care.